Welcome to PKR Live 4. Reigning champ VD12345 is back to try and retain his title. Also, we got a team of hungry PKR pros, each hoping to be the first PKR pro to the final table. We got $75,000 in prize money and a glamorous trophy to be won. We got 150 runners and riders. Are we ready? Yes, we are. Let's get those cards in the air.
Shuffle up and deal, folks. We're on our way.
Yeah, these players start with 10,000 chips, blinds at 25.50. I'd be pretty surprised to see a level 1 bust out here, but one can only hope, Colin.
Yeah, 150 players starting this tournament. A lot of money on the table, too. What's the guaranteed top prize here, Dan?
We're looking at 20K for first. A lot of these guys, for them, it'll be their first live tournament.
Well, Basisti, if this is his first live tournament, he's getting things started off right. Not only does he have pocket aces, he's got ER double D out there with pocket kings as well.
Wow, this is a sick blind-on-blind confrontation. Nothing from the cutoff. Weige on the button says no too, and this is unbelievably sick. The question is, who will flat call first instead of re-raise? Are they going to be getting it all in pre-flop? I find it unlikely.
Well, as you said earlier, this is early days. Here at Double D makes it 200.
As the trains rumble overhead. It's an ominous rumble from the poker gods for one of these guys.
And a flat call from Basisti.
Cool. Queen 10-7, checkerboard.
There we are, we're ready for a turn. So not the fireworks we might have expected.
Well, it's a lead from the kings. You would imagine the aces wants to build this pot and still feels that he's ahead. And sure enough, he does. He puts in a raise. Now the question is asked. You're out of position. You still have just one pair, and you've only just sat down at this table. Do you want to stack off right here? Probably not.
I think the 10 queen on the flop might give them enough to back off from this hand. Both players.
And the kings, well, looks like he has put in a re-raise. Wow, and that is going to put the aces on the back foot.
That's ER double D, that's Elmar Doorn from the Netherlands. Up against Basisti, aka Marco Viano from Haverstad in Sweden.
Well, a blank on the turn, but I tell you what, the aces lost the momentum now, and he's just going to hope to call this down and take it. No question here. He believes there's a good chance that he's behind. I think he may well put his opponent on something like Queen 10, or a set of 7s, or even a set of 10s here.
Well, and with the way things went pre-flop, with no really significant raises, it could even be pocket 7s.
And kings continues. It's a big bet considering this is level 1 in this tournament. No one wants to bail here. The 10, well, it's not going to make too much difference to either of these players' hands, but it just feels like these guys are going to slow down, and relief for the aces. And relief for the kings. I mean, both of these guys. You know, in a way, the aces will have believed that he was about to lose this hand. Could he have gone for value on the end? Possibly, but you don't want to open the door to a check raise. He'll be happy to have just taken that pot Although he'll kind of wish that he'd got it in pre-flop, but it's kind of unlikely.
Well, and you could see from the smile on his face as he was stacking up those chips that I don't think he feels like he could have got too much more out of that hand. Looks like he's pretty happy with what he got.
Well, yeah, it's the first time we've seen the card.
These guys know the TV cameras are there.
Yeah, and I tell you what, there is a fair bit of heat under these lights, and there'll be a buzz around the rest of the room. But certainly it's going to take a while for these guys to relax. And we'll see at the end of this table, former PKR pro Carl Disco Monkey Fenton in the grey hoodie. He'll be chatty. He's been here before. He's a winner of this tournament back in 2009. He knows exactly what it takes. I would keep my eye on him for sure.
Well, and look at that. It's Zanzibax's turn to peel up ace-ace.
Wow.
Erwin Smeckens is his real name. He's from Haim in Belgium.
Yeah.
Ace-king out there as well.
This is just like online poker. Ace is here, ace is there. Let's see what happens. I mean, he's actually got a few customers out there. We can see one Dream Killer. He's got a nice looking hand. Dave, of course, the ace king. It's going to be interesting to see how deeply he gets involved.
Well, Zanzibax leads out with 800 chips.
Zanzibax, of course, 20th, just inside the money in PKR Live II main event. So he's been here before. He's got over $160,000 worth of cashes on PKR online. One of the top multi-table tournament players on the site. He'll be feeling pretty comfortable here. Well, the action's on one Dream Killer in the black hoodie. It looks like a flat call. He's got the benefit of position.
Well, nobody's rushing into anything here. And who can blame them? It's early days. No one wants to take a cab home now.
Well, we know we're not going to be seeing an ace on this flop, but a king would spell disaster for someone, and fireworks indeed.
That's what a bunch of diamonds.
Yeah, and as if we needed this to get
Whoa.
X-rated, Carl Fenton decides to show us a bit of artwork.
I didn't know Disco had a tattoo.
I don't know what it would mean if I said I did know.
It'd mean that you're good friends.
Yeah, close friends. Well, I tell you one thing, when you open pre-flop with aces, you really want to be 3-bet by someone. You certainly don't want 3 callers. That certainly does diminish your chances of winning, but that's about as safe a flop as you can hope for.
I was going to say, Widgie decided to come along for the ride with the King Jack, and why not? Checking out here after that flop.
Now, we might just have come into level 2 here, but still, this pot is sizable already. 3.5 grand and likely to rise. The question is, how is Zanzibax going to get paid? And he's told the story all the way here, Colin. He's open raised, and he's been called in 3 spots. On a dry flop, he's confidently led out. The players here will be pretty sure that he's got some kind of overpair.
Well, it would take a pretty slick move now to knock him off those aces. Everybody drawing pretty weakly after that flop.
Yeah, Dave 1258, of course, has taken one of 2 routes to the flop with ace-king. He's decided to play it fairly passively, make sure he can flop a pair before he gets involved, so he gets away cheaply. Nothing for Weige, and Zanzi takes that.
Well, it was probably all he was ever going to get out of that hand. As you said, a very dry flop, nobody with any sort of draws or anything to get them excited. And you don't really want to go too far deep with 3 other players in a hand like that. The train rolling by.
Yeah, sure is atmospheric.
Ghosts of players gone by, rumbling over perhaps. Or maybe it's just the 5:15 back to Brixton. Your choice.
Well, what a treat we have in store, folks. A very special guest is joining us in the studio now. Yes, it's not often we get to sit next to one of the luckiest players on the planet. It's Scott Shelley, PKR Scott to those in the know, World Series of Poker Europe champion from this year. Scott, welcome to the booth, buddy.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Just a couple of weeks on from your big win down at the Empire in the World Series of Poker Europe. Have your feet touched the floor since?
Just about. It's just sinking in right about now, I think.
You had quite a bit of support down there in the Empire, including Dan Grant, who had more reasons than one to cheer you on. How big was that in your win? We're watching a bunch of guys play live right now, and it's the PKR community. And what was it like to have that behind you when you were sat at that, especially in heads up at the end?
Oh, it was unbelievable. The support was immense, to say it really.
It was everything, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. I think I pretty much had half the rail cheering for me, which was nice.
Do you think that put your opponent off at all?
I'm sure it must have had some effect.
Well, we've got an interesting hand developing here. One Dream Killer. The first sign of someone getting out of line here. He opens with the 6 deuce from late position. Chief Stake decides to call. Sir Drumboy is in this too. And not exactly the result that one Dream Killer was looking for when he opened. But, you know, this has been pretty nervy so far, Scott, but nice to see someone opening from late position online. Of course, it's super standard, but here perhaps not quite so easy.
I'd say in the early stages it's more trying to get a feel for the table than opening with a big wider range of cards.
So do you like to do that, send out those little testers every once in a while, see where the table's at?
Yeah, I'm a bit partial to speculating now and then. 7-4 rings a bell, I think.
It does ring a bell. Well, the flop is pretty good for Sir Drumboy, who is out of position, but is going to feel pretty good about this. Chief Stake's got a piece of it. Nothing for the opening raiser.
Do you think Dream Killer's going to keep up the ruse here with the 6-2? Pretty hard to do with that bet from Sir Drumboy.
Yeah, he takes the option to lead instead of check call or check raise, Scott.
I think I would have made the 3-bet pre, if I'm honest. Just out of position, you want to see where you're at, and probably would have taken it down, I'm sure. But it's a nice flop for him. And an even better turn.
Well, Chief Stake peels one off. He's got position, he's got second pair. Interesting, though. You're unlikely to be really ahead there with the 9, but I guess maybe he wants to spike something early. Big implied odds, win a big pot.
I mean, he's beating pretty much every draw, but that's about it on the flop. And yeah, as you said, he could peel one off in position, hopefully spike 2 pair or trips. But unfortunately, it's worked the other way around.
Any argument to ace-queen slowing down here, or is it too draw-heavy?
I think I might have checked here on the turn. You might have got the opener to try and rep the ace, and then he could have come over the top.
We're joined here by our first casualty. I'm so sorry, bless you. It's Mini Minge, lovely name. My favourite name, actually, I think, of the competition. What a shame that you're out. What's your real name, Mini Minge?
Adam.
Adam. Very sorry to be the first one out. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what happened?
Got raised on my blind with Queen Jack suited. Flop comes King Jack 4. The King and the 4 are my suit, the clubs. So I check, he bets, I raise him, he puts me all in, I call on like a 55-45. Don't really know the odds. I missed my club, so...
I know, it was looking good for you for a second, wasn't it, on the flop there? We managed to get over in that time. Yeah, them's the breaks. What can you do when you're up against aces? I'm guessing you haven't got that far to go home.
Well, about I don't know, about 200 odd miles. It's not that bad, really, is it?
Do you think you might stay around for a little bit, check out what else is going on?
Yeah, definitely.
Have a nice drink.
I will do, I think.
Thank you very much, Mini Minge.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Cheers.
Nice one, Chloe. Colin Morris here with Dan Dansky Grant and a very special guest, World Series of Poker Europe bracelet holder, Scott Shelley. You didn't bring in the bracelet today, Scotty.
No, it's safely stored behind some shoe boxes at home.
Oh, and where do you live again?
Manchester?
You're going to spark a spate of robberies in that. So, have you got your sights set on the next big tournament? Do you know what you're going to be playing next?
I'm not too sure. There's hopefully at the end of the month there's the Irish Winter Festival,
right?
Which would be nice. I think it's a 1,500 euro main event.
Sounds tasty.
So that hopefully be the first one as a pro.
And you put some bags aside for Vegas next year, baby.
I sure have. That was pretty much the first thing I thought of after the victory. It was like, yes, I've got a nice little bit put aside for Vegas.
I got my hand up immediately for a piece of him in the main event, folks. So when there's some acrimonious legal dispute next year, you'll know it's me. Where's my million?
I think we better sort out a contract this time.
Okay. No problem, bud.
ER-double-D, meanwhile, leads out with the pocket queens, gets a call from Rulian 21 with 10 jacks suited. There's your flop.
Yeah, Dutchman against a Frenchman in this spot here.
And nothing but pain on that flop for Rulian 21. Another train rolls on by as ER-double-D scoops up the pot. Well, just one more question for you before you ride off into the sunset with your bracelet and your World Series loot and chick under each arm and all the rest. Yes. Have you bought a new pair of shoes yet?
I have, but nothing extravagant.
You are a collector of fine footwear, are you not?
I wouldn't exactly say fine footwear.
I've heard
footwear's good.
The Imelda Marcos of the Pro Poker Tour.
If Imelda Marcos collects chavvy trainers.
Now, I wouldn't classify them as chavvy.
I know, I apologize.
Unique's a better word.
Unique.
That's just the green monster making an ugly appearance over there. That's true. The voice of Dan Grant.
That's true. All I seem to do nowadays is get on Scotty's back.
Well, somebody's got to keep him honest.
He's doing a great job at the moment, has to be said.
Before you enrage Mr. Grant anymore, we'll bid you adieu just for a few moments while we get back to some poker action, but we'll be catching up with Scott Shelley again really soon. What's going on here, Grant?
Well, the Queen Nine's opened. We've seen a blind defense here from Rulian, the Frenchman with the 6-8. Not much has gone for Dave so far. We saw him with the Ace-King earlier on. He got away cheaply against Zanzi's aces.
Could blow up a little here, though. Top pair versus two pair.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Bottom two here for Rulian, but he's not going to like the 3 diamonds. He checks. The top pair and the flush draw bets, and it's a check raise from Rulian. He wants to get this pot over with now. No more diamonds, please, he says. Dave, of course, with top pair and a 9 high flush draw is going to continue, we'd think. He's got position, and he makes the call.
Dave 1258, a.k.a. Dave Large from the UK.
Well, he's spiked his diamond on the turn. It goes check, check. A diamond on the end, and Rulian now cannot win except to bets. Dave has got the 9 high flush. It goes check, check on the turn, so Dave, you'd imagine, is reasonably confident his 9 is ahead here. There's some discussion here between Rulian and Chief Stake to his right, who's not in the hand.
Yeah, the dealer got right into that, as he should.
And all the while, here's Dave to the right of the dealer, sat there with a 9 high flush, wondering What's going on here? 1,500 is the bet from Rulian. He plays the board with the flush. Dave gazes down at his 9 of diamonds. It might seem like a straightforward call for Dave here. He's not sure what's been going on. He got check raised on the flop. His opponent then checks the turn. He may well think he's up against the nuts here. It's the kind of way you play the nuts.
He's really put him to a tough decision here, Dan.
Yeah, and Rulian, look. He gets it through. Nothing on the face of the Frenchman, but he's delighted about that, I'm sure.
Rulian 21, AK Julien Arroseau from Dijon in France makes the first big move, really, of this tournament that we've seen so far. He'll be playing that one back on TV for himself when he needs a bit of confidence boost.
Well, on the river, he played the board and he could not win unless he bet. So in a way, it was kind of a standard bet there for him. But the surprising thing was Dave flops top pair and a flush draw, turns the flush draw. River kind of looks irrelevant really there. And he lays it down without too much thought. But onwards we go.
Well, whatever it was, it worked for the Frenchman. A lot of French players coming over for PKR Live.
Yeah, maybe as many as 30, 35 Frenchmen in this 150-man field. And straight off the back of laying down the Queen 9, there we go, Dave, sporting the trendy London stubble. So loved by Scott Shelley. He gets involved with the 8s.
Yeah, Dave 1258. Known in real life as Dave Large. Well, maybe he just wanted to get straight back in there. Pocket 8s, why not?
Dave's actually re-raised the pocket 9s of Basisti here, which I like. You know, it's kind of the first 3-bet we've seen. He's looking to sweep out these players in the blinds. He's going to end up with position on a guy in Basisti who's only got a pocket 9s. A lot of flops are going to be anathema to him. And Basisti's going to be in an unpleasant spot. If any overcards to his 9 comes, he's really going to have to check fold.
Dave Large in the driver's seat, as Dan points out. The always helpful PKR Live dealers, sorting out everybody's change, making sure bets are correct, keeping order at the table.
Yeah, well, as we've seen, the 9s makes the call. It's certainly not a spot, really, you're going to be wanting to 4-bet with too often. He kind of wants to control the size of this pot here. Wow, and this is interesting. He's going to have to really have a bit of a read on his opponent here. I mean, the pocket 9s, he's out of position. He's going to have to check to Dave, who we can see here focusing. There's the check from the 9s. Green light for Dave, who's going to believe he's got the best hand, and he bets. And the 9s releases instantly.
Well, and Dave Large getting a bit of his own back.
It pains me to do this to you, but I've got to speak to you. Hard luck.
It's not hard luck. I've just been absolutely poor for the 40 minutes we've been playing.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things when you go out so early, it's like, God damn, what if?
Yeah, it's my own fault. I've tried a 3-street bluff, which has been red, and it's crippled my stack, and I've then gone and got a bit tilty. But I've run it. I had aces and get no callers. I had 9s and get check raised, and he shows a set of 10s. Just not my day.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things, isn't it? If it's not your day, it simply isn't. I see you go in at the end with ace-6, and I'm like, oh, hicko, mate.
I know, it's a bad call, but he's just raised 300 from the button. He's been very raggy all afternoon. I've got him down as a weak player, and I'm just thinking, if I call, I'm out of position. If I don't hit my ace, I don't know what he's got, so let's shove and just hope he folds. I'm not expecting a call. He calls with the 9s, which is a good call, and bang, I go.
There is some consolation. You're not first out, but you are second out.
I was waiting for the first one to go out. That's why I waited. But it's just, I mean, obviously, all the build-up, you look forward to this for so long, and then to go out so early is just it's.
It's just one of the things you have to live with if you are quite a crap player, though.
Yeah, it's true, and obviously I am, as I'm second out. So no, it's good luck to the guys that are still playing. And
what do you think of it this year? Having fun?
it's just as good, if not better, than all the previous 3 times that we've played. So, but obviously you come for the poker, and I want to play poker.
Yeah.
But so roll on tomorrow.
Hicko, unlucky, mate.
Thank you.
Good luck.
No, cheers.
Well played.
One of my favorite players, Hicko715. In fact, I've picked him to take down PKR Live 5. Controversial though it may be. I was really sorry to see him go out of this one early. Although it did mean we could have a few drinks together in the bar, so that was nice.
Well, Colin, guess who I'm picking to win PKR Live 5?
Dan Grant?
No, if I could play, still no. Now, there's one man who's going to be playing this event for the very first time, and he joins us again in the studio.
Oh, it's Scott Shelley, World Series of Poker Europe winner. Still along for the ride.
Yeah, welcome back, Scotty.
Thanks again, guys. I'm back here.
What's it like adjusting to your new identity as World Series Poker Europe winner? Does it feel like it's part of your name now?
Wouldn't go that far, but it's nice to bring it up now and then.
I've seen him sign off his emails as bracelet winner. I've seen it, folks. It's happening. It's already happening. Scott, you're going to be playing PKR Live 5. Any thoughts? I mean, you must be really looking forward to playing with a lot of these guys who, when you were a customer service rep in your former position, you were kind of like dealing with these guys. Now you're going to be owning these guys.
Let's hope so anyway. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Always wanted to be part of PKR Live. Like every one I've attended, I've been upset I couldn't take part really, and now I get a chance to, so it should be really good. Really
Best
looking
of
forward
luck,
to it.
buddy. Best of luck. We hope to be commentating on a final table with you sat on it.
That's the plan.
Meanwhile, ERDD getting involved again, this time with pocket deuces. Dream Killer with the ace-queen, and doesn't he look serious?
He's like Revenge of the Sith from Star Wars. I'm not that geeky to know that. Someone told me he looked like that.
Dan's a massive geek, number one. Number two,
Blinds are now 100, 200.
blinds are going up.
Yeah, Mr. McGee in the background there. Roy from the Loose Cannon. Dear sweet Roy. A big shout out to the staff from the Loose Cannon.
They're always, always, always fantastic. They're going to be sorely missed when we come up to PKR Live 5.
That's true. Life moves on, of course, and we're on to the Fox Club, our own card room in London.
Yeah, right there on Shaftesbury Avenue in the West End. I know you two, both Scott and Dan, have darkened its doors many times, and I've been there once. What's the best you've done so far at the Fox Club, Scotty?
I think my 7th place finish in the opening tournament.
Well, that's pretty good. Dan, what's your best finish at the Fox so far?
Well, I know I'm commentating on a tournament here, but I haven't got a great deal of respect for tournaments and tournament players. It's largely luck.
Okay,
it's largely luck. I'm a cash game player. I'm a serious poker player.
I think we can make a certain inference about your success rate at the Fox Poker Club based on that response. I meanwhile came in third. You can check it out on thehendedmob.com. Look up my name there, and you'll see that fantastic result. Anyway, let's get back to poker, shall we? Disco Monkey finally makes an appearance.
Wow.
5, 10, 6.
Just make him out there behind the dealer.
And Carl's gonna play a hand, but it's not gonna come off this time. However, Dave, who's been involved a fair amount so far, has flopped the nut flush draw and 2 overs. Basisti has flopped a gut shot and the flush draw. Yeah, Basisti raised pre-flop and got 2 callers. He's now, it's checked to him and he's bet the flop. The question is how Dave's going to play this.
Where is he? Out of position. I like a flat here.
Don't want to bloat the pot too early?
Nah, not at this stage. Just...
And as if he contradicts you right there and then, I don't mind it too much.
No, it's not too bad. I think you've got a wide range of options here.
He'd prefer, presumably, to take it down right here.
Yeah.
Well, the turn could be big, especially if it comes in the form of a club.
Can the dealer find the deuce of clubs?
The deuce of clubs.
That would certainly throw a match on this puddle of gasoline.
Or an ace of, sorry, an eight of clubs. That would be a little bit of a sick card too. But Basisti makes the call. I mean, he's got position. It wasn't that big of a raise.
And hello. We've got two made flushes.
Wow, and it goes check, check, the turn very quickly indeed. A bit of a surprise there, Scott.
Yeah, I'm pretty shocked, to be honest with you. I would have liked to have seen a bet from Basisti.
Bizarrely, both players made the flush, and that seemed to slow them down.
Well, in the end, and this is an interesting river. It's now come double paired, and now it's time for Dave with the nut flush to go for value.
He's put himself in quite a tough spot here now.
I mean, what if you get raised here?
Might want to puke.
You definitely puke. Of course, it takes a mighty move to find the raise here, assuming that you're turning your 9-7 into a bluff. I mean, you might think that
He's got to dig down deep to find it inside him.
Yeah, I mean, he might even think that he can find the call and be good here with the 9 high, with the 10 high flush. Well, there we go, and you'd have to think that Dave would have got more value by betting the turn.
I'm joined now by Gareth, aka Chivalrous Gent. I've been having a look at you. You seem like a different player somehow.
Not really. Maybe you know, you've only seen me in passing, where everybody kind of expects me a bit of a nit, but I'm actually playing quite a. Don't tell them I'm playing quite a broad range of hands. But
I saw one hand where you had 9-10 and you flopped trips, but I loved your value bet on the end.
I was thinking given the way he was playing, I was fairly sure I was ahead. So yeah, it's always, and if he comes over the top of me, then maybe I can revise it. I don't think he's tricky enough to want to ship it in over me unless he's got the goods and he's got me beaten. So yeah, I thought I'd squeeze it out if I could.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cracking little play. You got a nice table there, Scotty. I played with him. He's a wicked little guy.
Oh, he's great. He's good fun at the table. He's good value in the sense that, you know, he gets some action going on the table, which is always good. Yeah, so we've got a really interesting little dynamic. We've got a couple of unknowns. We're trying to work out what they're like. Yeah, so interesting times.
I got to ask you very, very quickly about your recent inauguration into the PKR Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
It means a lot, actually. I suppose a lot of this stuff here was, you know, the entire of the whole PKR community thing was, I mean, between me and a few of the other guys who sort of seeded it in the first place and started the first meetups and stuff like that. And I mean, of course, it would have been nice to have been inaugurated for my amazing poker skills, but let's not get completely in cloud cuckoo land there. So yeah, no, very pleased. I'm very appreciative that they recognised, you know, what myself and not just me, but a lot of the other early guys did, who are still here. You know, Tiger and this, that, and the other. But yeah, so very pleased and very grateful that they, you know, given me a spot up there with such greats.
Yeah, good man. Okay, look, best of luck. Get back to the table.
Buddy. Thanks.
Good luck.
Chivalrous Gent, a Goliath of the community, been there since the beginning. Of course, he's a PKR Live side event champion too, from the very first year.
A man who feels his poker intensely, I can tell you. I had the good fortune, or perhaps misfortune, of wronging him quite badly at the tables recently. And as gentle and cool and laid back as he is, there was a moment I saw a flash of teeth. Don't get on his bad side.
He belied his chivalrous name. I'm sure he was a perfect gent.
Only for a moment, and then he composed himself, and of course, gracious as always. Really looking forward to catching up with him and so many more PKR regulars at PKR Live IV.
I think he has to be the best dressed player we have.
There is
always looking very suave.
Pure sartorial elegance is Gareth, I have to say, but onwards to Disco Monkey and a first opportunity for Carl to pick up some chips.
He's got the pocket queens here, up again against Dave Large, who seems to be getting involved in a lot of pots.
Yeah, the problem for Dave is he's second best some of the time here, although he really did play the 8s against the 9s earlier nicely. The question is, can he get away from the ace-10 pre-flop here? Disco making what's a really standard 3-bet out of position here, Scott.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely standard here. And looks like he's got a customer. And we're going to see a flop here.
Easier to play 6s than ace-10?
I think I'd prefer to play ace-10.
I guess I'm a fish who wants to spike his 2-outer. Spike my 2-outer or get away. Well, no 2-outer for Rulian. The question here as he gazes down and thinks about his options is what does he do with the inevitable c-bet from Disco Monkey?
Carl makes it 2,225 chips to Rulian.
And to those of us who've been to Specsavers, 2,425.
Oh, did I misread that, Dan? Well, good save. Dan is sat closer to the monitor, folks.
Other opticians are available, of course.
You youngins in your good eyesight.
That's my only edge in the game. That you might misread a club for a spade. Well, Rulian, it's not too difficult a decision. Do you think he's perhaps aware who Disco Monkey is and thinks that there might be a bit of image at work here?
I'm pretty sure the whole field has an idea of Disco's image, but doesn't seem to work this time. He's taken the pot down.
Well, they start with 10,000 and these pots are starting to get a little bit big now. It's no longer 25.50.
They are starting to get bloated, definitely.
And is this the kind of time in the tournament here where Disco's going to perhaps crank it into the second gear, start 3-betting people looking for those opportunities?
I'm very sure that's going to happen now. We've got, what are we at, 1 and 200, is it?
Looks like 153.
153, even more reason to then.
Ante's coming in soon, I expect, and at that point, we're looking for the good players to really get going.
As I like to call it, anti-Hoover. Anti-Hoover time.
Sid Drum Boy, sitting on 8-7. One Dream Killer makes it 700 with pocket deuces.
Well, he's been happy to open a few pots. We've seen him with the 6 deuce earlier on, and a number of hands here, especially when it gets around to him in late position. He's opened pretty much 100% of the time when he's been able to.
Likes to take control of the hand, it seems.
Well, Rulian's happy to make the call with ace-10 suited. Only Sid Drum Boy left to make a decision here on the big blind. Gets out of the way.
That's right, and Rulian opting for the flat, and I could almost feel Scott's kind of desire for him to make the 3-bet there, am I right?
It's quite similar to the hand earlier with the ace-queen. You want a 3-bet, try and get an idea of where you're at in the hand, and even take it down pre.
And you don't really want to be at the mercy of having to spike the flop and then try and get paid out of position.
Exactly. If you miss, as he's done now, he's out of position. He's going to find it extremely hard to win this pot now. Well, he's taken one off.
Now, do you imagine from what we've seen so far that this is... he's got a plan to take this pot away from Dream Killer later on in the hand? Or is he looking for a diamond or an ace or a 10 to kind of continue in the hand?
It could be either, if I'm honest with you. And he's led out now, so seems to be the first one.
Nice little stop-go, and actually the turn's not too bad a card for the deuces. But you never like to be check called.
It's not exactly a scare card, but...
But obviously any other pair is beating Dream Killer's deuces. He's got the decision to make here. He's taking his time.
Rulian's made his hand look like a 9 here leading out, just to see where he's at.
Well, of course, Rulian was the one who led out with 6-8 on an all-diamond board earlier on and got Dave 12.58 off his hand. So we're starting to see some glimpses of a bit of game here.
Yeah. Definitely, I think, the most active player on the table at the moment.
Well, these two are the most active players. Yeah. It's no surprise that they're clashing. And because of where they're sat at the table, I think they're going to be clashing a fair bit.
Yeah, it's a nice little dynamic here.
Poor old Chief Steak sat in the middle of them. Looks half asleep there, the Frenchman.
Well, it would have been a late night for a lot of these players as the 9 comes out.
It's an interesting card. Flush has got there, but it's kind of unlikely with the back door. But the 9 he was repping surely would fire here. Looks like he's reaching.
Wow, he calls 250. It's a 7,000 pot. Another Frenchman at the table says he meant 2,500.
He has to have meant 2,500.
He has to have meant 2,500. The dealer's going to enforce a bet of 300, the minimum bet. 300 into a 7,000 pot. His opponent, one dream killer of the other Frenchman,
is playing the board.
He's playing the board and he's faced with a bet of 300 into now 7,400.
Well, the only hand that would see a split pot is if Rulian was on the 2-4.
Well, and Dreamkiller laughs and chucks his deuces in. Scotty, perhaps there would have been a raise there, an opportunity?
Yeah, I think I can't resist that. 300, you got to make it. I would have popped it up to about 3K or something.
What a strange hand.
It seemed quite weak. Well, obviously those bet did seem weak, but just something about it all seemed pretty weak. But it's a risk he wasn't willing to take, it seems.
Well, two French ambassadors of poker.
I like to call it franc-on-franc action.
I like that. I like that term, that's good.
Wow. I mean, really strange there. And perhaps on occasion you might think that I know that sometimes they say, well, if you're not sure about the denominations of the chips, then call your betting amount. But of course, if English isn't your first language, you should go back to the chips amount.
Well, it's a bit unfortunate there. I don't know how well I do at a poker tournament in France if I had to make all my actions out in French. I can imagine a few tragedies of that nature happening to me as well.
You mean 3,000 or 300, Mr. Morris? It's not a very French accent by me. I apologise to all.
That was terrible.
France. I apologise. Je suis désolé. Back to the action here, and Dreamkiller, he's at it again. Again, he's opened from late position.
Stamping his mark on this table.
Perhaps a little steamed at that situation where he was counterfeited on the end. In fact, he was ahead until the river, and he actually made a call for 1,500 on the turn, which was good, and then had to fold for 300 on the river when it was bad. Terrible. And maybe steaming under his Darth Maul hoodie. It's a nice hoodie, though, let me tell you.
Quality.
Quality.
And comfort.
Available in the PKR shop, of course. Get a little plug in there shamelessly.
Why not?
ER-double-D makes the call with ace-8.
Scotty, perhaps a word on the ace-8 suited compared to the goodness of the ace-8 offsuit. These two are both defending their blinds.
I think I'd take the offsuit. You've got 2 flush draws there. Not anymore. Well, yeah. The spades have got there.
Yeah, YG looking at 2 spades on the board. He needs one more to make the flush.
Has he open shoved?
Yeah, it looks like he set himself in from the small blind. No mucking around here.
It's a slight overbet as well.
He prefers the fold equity, presumably, rather than check calling or check shoving.
Yeah, if he checks to him, he's going to get a bet of about, what was the pot? 2K?
And he gets through.
Yeah.
Well, I've dragged young Simon Wing, a.k.a. Tiger Wing, away from his table. How are you getting on there?
Yeah, not too bad. About starting stack, so could be worse.
And you've got last year's winner, VD12345, on your table. Any tussles with him?
Not yet. We're both playing pretty tight because it's early, but I'm sure we will.
A lot of people have been mentioning you as a possible winner of this because you've had a hot streak coming into the tourney.
Yeah, I've done pretty well the last month on PKR, but people took me for this the last time, and I went out pretty quickly, as you know. So,
because I took you out.
Yeah, exactly.
I did notice you actually boasted about your recent run of form on the forums.
Well, I've been running bad before that, so I needed a lift and a boost, so I thought I'd boost my winnings and let everyone cheer and give me a clap. So
absolutely. Well, here's a little clap for you. Best of luck, okay?
Thanks, Ashley. Cheers. Thanks.
Tiger Wing catching up with his old friend Ashley Hames there.
Yeah, generally respected as one of the top players in multi-table tournaments on PKR. He's won the High Roller, the Grand Prix,
The lot.
The lot. I mean, not the Masters. He's never reached a Masters final table, but that ain't easy. There aren't that many of them in the year, but it's certainly something he'll set his sights on.
Look at Disco Monkey here with Pocket Kings. I think we're going to see more of former PKR Live champion.
Yeah, well, we may have missed some little blind steals from him over the last few hours of play, of course, but generally speaking, this is only the third hand that we have seen in this.
It's quite shocking, really.
it is quite shocking.
It's nice to find kings with his image.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
sure he's happy about that.
Well, he had queens before and jack high flop, got no customer, but were happy to take it down. This time, this stage in the tournament, Scott, you'll be wanting to stack someone off.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and then you said 700, so maybe do 725.
Well, and looking at these hands, there's only one. Oh, there are two likely hands that are going to be up against him. But whether these guys have it within themselves to 3-bet the mighty Disco Monkey, he's certainly got a degree of presence at the table.
We've got a flat call there from the 2-9s.
725.
Yeah, one Dream Killer going along for the ride. ER Double D waiting on the small blind with Ace Jack suited.
Bad time to make a little squeezy bet here.
Well, you'd at least find out.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, you might lose. You might lose
the minimum.
less. Yeah.
575.
But with one Dream Killer in as well, you might just want to take in the advantage of the shelter of multi-way. It's certainly going to keep Disco Monkey honest, you'd imagine, if there were more than 2 players in the hand.
Yeah, I think Disco's praying inside for a re-raise here, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
It's on Basisti now, and with 5 queen off suit.
That's into the muck.
Gets out of the way, and it's going to be a 3-way hand as we head into the flop.
I tell you what, Jack high or 9 high, and there are going to be fireworks here. Someone's going to be leaving this tournament.
King 9 with 2 spades. That's a... Ooh.
Well, there's the Jack.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of about stack sizes here, really. I think Disco Monkey has ER Double D covered. ER Double D leads for 2,200 into these 2 players.
And I think Disco shipped it, has he?
So we've got 5,500. 559. He's called the order.
Yeah, Disco Monkey's moved in. The 9s have got out of the way.
And we got a call.
Yeah, ER Double D is going to see the bad news, and for his tournament life, he's going to need to spike one of 2 aces, 3 aces or 2 jacks here.
Both the players stand up in anticipation of the turn in the river.
Disco Monkey's going to absolutely love this spot here.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been patient to give him his dues. He hasn't really donked off any chips.
Been playing rather snug, it has to be said.
I mean, difficult with the stack sizes for ER Double D to get away from this, especially against Disco Monkey.
The turn brings a 6, the river a deuce. That makes it Disco Monkey's pot. ER Double D. Unfortunately for him, he'll be looking for a drink back at the bar now. Loose cannon.
Yeah, we say goodbye to Elmar, and well, the pros get richer. Carl now, wow, he's got some chirping chips. He's been absolutely silent so far. It's all very well and good when you get some chips, and now we hear him. And that's one thing you don't want to see, is the best player at the table get some chips.
Well, and look at this, the new player at the table, Popeye 777, AKA Anthony Martin. Sorry, Anthony Marin. And how's that for a how do you do?
Welcome to the table.
Yeah. Do you think it's an advantage, Scott, if you're a new player at the table and your first hand is pocket aces and maybe nobody really has a read on you at that point?
Yeah, it's a great spot, I think, because a lot of times you'll find players joining a new table, they like to sort of put themselves out there and try and win the first part. So it could look a bit dodgy. Should get some action here.
Well, and no sooner said than done. Popeye makes it 800. Basisti calls that very quickly with his 6-7 suited.
2,500. So we raise to 1,700. So raise to 1,700.
Sounds like a raise to me. And it is.
Yep.
Dave Large makes it large, 2,500 with Jack 7.
Suited.
That is a funky squeeze right there, Scott.
I like it, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, new player at the table. Doesn't scream confidence when he arrives at the table. And someone 3-bets him straight away. Dave has 3-bet once or twice before. Definitely has game. Whether his timing's out,
well, and there's Anthony Marin there, a.k.a. Popeye 777. And he's making it look like a tough decision. Chomping on the gum, counting out the chips.
I believe he's announced raise and he's coming back over the top.
Hand over.
Pretty sure. Unless we see some crazy shove.
Dave's going to be a little sick here, but, you know, you try your best.
8,000 chips.
Wow. And the bad news, not really spreading across Dave's face. A little shake of the head there. He's pretty sick. I mean, fresh player to the table. Dave knows he's got the goods now. Yeah, and he's sick about that. 2,500 chips down the pan.
Well, nice way to start a new life on a new table there for Anthony Marin. 12,000 chips in that. Sorry, 120,000.
Yeah, Moran, of course, over $75,000 in tournament winnings on PKR. Perhaps we'll see more of him.
Ace 10 out there for one Dream Killer. Ace Jack for Dave Large. He's had some nice cards here. These are highlights. So he's not getting hit in the face every hand.
Got a call from the 2-5s from the cutoff. Oh, sorry, under the gun.
And
yeah,
instant replay. Dave 1258 re-raises.
Thing is, this might get through.
Only thing is, if anyone's questioning if he's steaming after having lain down after 3-betting the hand before.
Well, he's definitely going to be steamed if he gets flatted and misses here. You can be pretty sure he's going to be c-betting chunkily. Chief Stake gets out of the way. We've seen very little of the well-known Frenchman from Calais. Perhaps he'll get his game going later on.
Biding his time, trying to find some spots, it seems.
Part-time pro volleyball player. Little known fact about Chief Stake.
Nice. Well, Popey's peeled one off here. And very difficult to continue on that flop with the 5s. Dave with position, with the momentum.
Hard to call a bet, though, when you haven't hit.
My feeling, though, is that with a gut shot and 2 overs, Dave's going to make the move.
I can really not see him passing here.
We've seen the way he plays so far. There's no way he's passing here, surely. Voila! As if on cue, our crystal ball is working. There we go. Dave applies the pressure, and this is going to get through. And I really look forward to seeing more of Dave play.